Welcome everyone to the Sports Talk with Bono and House. I think one requirement here, Bono, I think you got to have a beard to be a guest, don't you?
They're slimming, they say.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Jim's there is a little bit more gray than ours.
Oh, I'm a little older than you guys, though. You gotta have a beard and you gotta be really good looking to be a guest. That's the criteria, right, Bono?
That's right. That's what we've been saying.
Yeah. Like I said, beard, a little overweight, and we're doing fine.
Yeah, we're perfect. We're perfect.
Yeah. Couple things I just want to touch base on before we start into it. I want to give the condolences out to the Caleb Wood plays for the Sioux Thunderbirds in the NOJHL, and his father passed yesterday at the age of 53. So I just want to give our condolences out to the Woods family, and also to the Aruda and Wheatons. Our prayers and our thoughts are out to Carlo, who's in the hospital recovering from surgery. And I know you both know Carlo. And Jim, if you just want to talk about Carlo for a second, we did last week.
Oh, Carlo's a great guy. Love him to death. We're hoping and praying here that somehow turns the corner. But he's a great guy, great family man. I coach both his sons, and he's got two more sons coming up now in St. Mary. One's at St. Mary's, one's at Cora, actually. So hopefully we get them back on the football field if there's ever football again in the Sioux. And Kyle's a great guy, great family man, great football guy. His sister is Isabel Wheaton, who the Wheatons are an awesome football family also, and they just suffered a loss not too long ago of their son, which we're going to talk about later on with the 7-on-7 tournament that the boys got going for him, which is awesome. I also know George Wood. I knew him very well too. Really, really great guy, soft-spoken guy, easygoing, and good family man, and a great hockey guy. And it hasn't been a good couple of days around here for the Sioux with a couple of good guys. One gone and one fighting right now. So it's kind of a sad time.
Bono, it seems like Jim knows everybody, eh?
He does. He's the man.
Pretty good for a guy that never leaves his house, eh?
Been around and volunteered and put as much time in as he has. I mean, you're going to know people.
Exactly. Now, have you gained the weight back that you lost, Jim, with this quarantine, or?
I gained some back, not all of it, and I'm back on the way down now. But the way down is not as much fun as the way up. That's for sure. So,
Exactly.
It's not the same watching a football game eating a salad as it is eating pizza. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And watching The Bachelor, like we got to be done by 8 o'clock tonight, right?
Absolutely, love The Bachelor. Me and Bono are big. We're part of Bachelor Nation. So
now, question. Go ahead, Bono.
Funny story about that. So I don't know how long Jim's been into this for, but it all started. We always hear Jim talk about The Bachelor, and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to give this a chance. Like, come on, like it's The Bachelor, right? Like, no thanks. But Jim just kept hyping it. So one day I checked it out, and I think it was about the third last episode of the season of Hannah's season, and I have been an absolute addict ever since. It is unbelievable. So it's nice.
It really is. It's terrible TV, really, to be honest with you, but it's hilarious. And it's on a lot, and there's not ever anything on TV all the time. And I watch football all weekend, every weekend, and I watch a lot of sports. So it's something me and my wife watch together, but I watch it more than she does. So
yeah. The one thing I always say is this is my argument is, what, there's so much drama and there's so much BS going on in the world. It's nice to just do something and just mind out for a couple hours and watch drama that you have no part of, that you are not invested in at all.
Yeah,
and it is
awesome. Laugh at other people, right? So.
Oh yeah.
And if my wife doesn't watch it all the time, but if my wife Carolyn watches it, and if I'm in the room, I'll watch it, but I'm like not into it like you guys are.
Wow. It's fun. It's something different. And I make fun of myself about it too. That's the best part about it. So yeah.
How many? I haven't even watched it. How many guys left this year or season?
It's girls now. They
girls.
Just started. It's the third episode tonight.
Tells you how much I pay attention to it, eh? So I'm gonna touch base. Only sports right now. We report the sports every week, and only sports right now is Lake State in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. The men's team went 0-2 against Minnesota State Mavericks. They're at Michigan Tech. All three teams are at Michigan Tech this weekend. They're basketball and hockey. The men's went 1-1 against Purdue Northwest Pride, and the women's went 0-2. So that's really, again, only sports that we can report right now, but hopefully we can see more sports coming back soon. Jim, are you going nuts with no? You can't commentate for us, and you had no football, so you going a little crazy?
Yeah, I hate it. At least this time around with the lockdown, there's sports on TV. The first time we were locked up for a while there was not even sports on TV. So at least there's something to follow. Maybe slide a wager down here and there on something that's going on now. But before, when there was nothing, it was terrible. So at least yeah. I mean, I'm going crazy. I missed the football field. This is the longest I've been without football for so long. I mean, I understand it's safety first, but it doesn't mean that I have to like it, right? So
Now, me and Bono talked, and again, you don't know, but do you think we're going to see SaberCats football this summer?
well, I mean, we're hopeful, right? We're preparing for the fact that there will be football this summer. We talk all the time amongst the coaches and the executive of the SaberCats, and we do talk about it, but it's hard to imagine, right? Like we're hopeful, we're prepared. We've had league meetings, and when everything's a go, they want to start by June 1st, but to me, unless that vaccine starts rolling out, we're in trouble. So that's my thoughts. I see on the side here there's a note from Carlo's sister Sylvia that Carlo's watching. So big shout out to Carlo, and we love you, buddy. So all the best to you.
Absolutely.
And that gives me, like I say, a little bit of goosebumps knowing that he's in the hospital sitting there watching us. I don't know if that's good or bad, Carlos. So we'll let you laugh a little bit.
Yeah, back to what I was saying. I think football in the summertime is going to be hard to imagine. I'm just guessing, right? That's a medical issue thing more than the safety thing, more than the football thing. We're ready to go if there is. They raised the age group 1 year, so the kids that lost that year last year will be able to play. So I believe that means that the 01s would still be eligible to play next year. So they kind of threw them a bone and gave them a year so they don't lose the 1 year they played. So if it does go, we're ready to go, and we're hopeful, right? So
again, we thought last year that we would have saw SaberCats this year, right?
absolutely.
So you never know, right?
You never know. Well, you never know. Maybe we'll turn the corner somehow, some way. I don't know what everyone's opinion on the vaccine is. That's a different topic for a different day. But I mean, it seems to me that that's the way out of this, and that's the only way the government's going to give us the go ahead. So I'd love to get back on the football field, and the kids. I mean, I could coach forever. The kids can only play for so long, right? So that's where it's really at, right?
And that's exactly it. And you can tell Bono's already had. Look at Bono. He's already had the vaccine. Look at his face.
That's a bad reaction for sure.
So it's the boys have just texted me. Aaron says they're having a technical difficulty, so probably gonna be a couple minutes. But
Okay, no worries. So, Jim, I wanted to ask you. I mean, Jay and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on one of our first broadcasts. But I know that you're an OHL fan too, and follow the Sioux Greyhounds a little bit. I was curious to see. We actually had a discussion about the what they're going to do with overagers next year. Would you allow for an extra spot in the OHL? Would you allow for 2 extra spots, overage spots next year? Just because some of these kids, it's not their fault, right? Some of these 19-year-olds. How many players have really developed at that age, right? So it's nice to hear that they're talking about doing that for football. Do you think other leagues should take that up as well?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a consideration, right? You hate to see kids aged out and miss their year because of what's going on in the world, right? I mean, high school sports is different. You can't do that. They can't stay in high school for forever, although a lot of us would like to have. But it's if they do that, I'm all for it. If they want to let people play, then let them play. It's all about the kids, and there's only so long they can do it for. It's it's sad, right?
And that's the thing. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, is NCAA is doing it with their sports, giving them an extra year because of this. So I think again, it's something that it's an avenue that they could look at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I don't know. There's two football leagues in the Ontario that play in the springtime and summertime. I don't know if both leagues are doing it, but the SaberCats were members of the OFC. They voted, and it was a unanimous vote to let the kids come back for one more year. I don't know if they'll revert back the next year and go to, you have to be 20 to play, but for now they're letting it go next year. But I mean, who knows? Like I said, we're not overly optimistic there'll be a season this year either, right? So,
Jim, can you talk just a little bit too about? I know that there's some. Last year we announced that they were going to expand the Sioux SaberCats program to include an extra division.
we were gonna have a bantam team.
Talk a little bit about that and the age and that type of stuff for people that might be interested.
Yeah, so I mean, my knowledge of the actual years are terrible. I'll use grades 7s and 8s would play SaberCat football. So that's kids that are currently in 7 and 8 would play SaberCat bantam football. Then the 9s and 10s and 11s now, the way the rules are this year, they moved that up 1 year or two in the JV. So 9, 10s, and 11s would play JV, and then grade 12s and up would play varsity. So the bantam team is our youngest age group. We're supposed to start for the first time. The coach was supposed to be Greg Matheson. He was all ready to go. We do plan on going again with a bantam team, but like I said, we're all just everything's contingent on what happens with the province and what they let us do. I can tell you too. Another thing, we had started working on getting some camps going. Get some workouts going. Get some. We're going to do some lineman camps. We're going to get some guys into the gym throwing. And I actually had talked to Bono a little bit about this, and I had tried to contact the indoor facility, and then almost the next day we went back into lockdown, and so we shelved that for a while. So we'd like to get the kids out in the indoor facility. Follow all the safety requirements. There are football safety requirements out there. We would follow everything. We'd do all whatever we had to do and get some kids moving into the back into football. But again, while we're locked down, that's all on the shelf too. So,
well, we'll talk a little bit more about that, guys, if you don't mind. But the other two boys are on about the Matt Wheaton legacy, and then we'll get back to talking about SaberCats, and we'll make sure we're done by 8:00 for you, Jim and Tony. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
So I'm just bringing Greg and Aaron in, and I'm just going to step out, and you four can talk. There you go, Bono.
All right.
How's it going, guys?
Hey guys. So for those of you that don't know, this is Greg Caruso and Aaron Wheaton. Unfortunately for both Greg and Aaron, they've had to tolerate me as a coach in numerous sports for numerous years, just like Matt. So I know these boys very well, and I'm sure it's nice to see where they are now, and both great athletes. So nice to see you guys here today. I know we have your coach Jim Monaco up there as well. Jim,
how's it going, guys? Yeah, I had the pleasure of coaching both these guys in football. Both excellent players, great athletes, like you said, Bono. So, and good boys. So
for this, Greg, you'll appreciate this. I busted out my old St. Mary's uniform because I know Matt would appreciate it. So I squeezed into this really tight shirt, and I have my orange shorts on, and I dug out the old hat too with all the sweat stains and everything. So I'm ready for this. So I'll let you guys. I'm gonna just hand it over to you guys. You guys can say what you want to say, and we'll chime in as we go. So maybe just talk a little bit about Matt and what you guys are doing, in his memory.
All right, sounds good. Well, first I wanted to talk about background about Matt. As most know, Matt passed away after a hard battle with internal injuries caused by a single vehicle accident on October 21st, 2020. But Matt is my brother, and in the Wheaton family, it has always been a big part of our lives. When we weren't watching it on TV, we were playing it. When my oldest brothers, Cody and Jeremy, played for the SaberCats, me and Matt would be the water boys, and if we weren't the water boys, we were playing, or we were on the sidelines doing the sticks for about $25 a game. As we got older, we got out of the SMFL stage and went to SaberCats. There's nothing more that Matt loved more than playing with the boys, going on trips. I am really honored to represent the Wheaton family in this tournament. My whole family is so grateful that we can honor this tournament in Matt's name for years to come. Well, when Greg proposed this idea to me, I was so thrilled because it had Matt's name all over it, and he loved the sport so much. So, and if you knew Matt, he'd be bragging about this right now. But I'd also like to say prayers out to my uncle Carlo Aruda, who's is not doing so well, and was sent back to the Sioux this morning from Sudbury. He's got a lot of love from his entire family, especially, and from all of his friends and people that know him. So we love you, Carlo.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Bono.
All right, sorry guys. So yeah, really well said. I mean, for anyone who knows, who's been to a football field in this city over the last, 15 years, they definitely know you and your family. You guys have been. I mean, the thing about you guys is, anything we ever needed for Sioux Minor football, you guys were always the family that would be there. That you guys, there were a few other families that come to mind, the Dewars, but you guys were always there helping us, and it's true. I mean, when you think of football in Sault Ste. Marie, you think of the Monaco family and the Wheaton family, it seems like, right? So I think it's an amazing idea and an amazing thing that you guys are doing. Greg, do you want to talk a little bit about the tournament itself and the idea behind it and the format, how you guys want it to look, those types of things?
Yeah, so as of now, all based around COVID, obviously. We're looking at having it on the 28th of August, right before Labor Day, just at the end of summer, to hopefully catch everybody that wants to be in the tournament, not overlapping with SaberCats and high school football. And then registration, we have forms, and we're going to have those forms probably available within the next week, or sorry, the next month. And all it's going to be is just for insurance purposes. We're just going to need name, date, birth, number, and a signature. We're also going to be doing, so to be able to enter the tournament, we're going to have pledges per player. And we're thinking about, it's going to be about $40 pledge per player. So it doesn't need to come out of anybody. It doesn't have to come out of your pocket. You can go door to door and you can just ask for like a $5 pledge here, $5 pledge here. So we're trying, so we can do some good here and try to actually raise some good money. We're going to have two separate divisions because we really want to capture everybody. Like we want everybody that wants to be involved to be involved. So we're going to have a competitive division and we're going to have a rec division. Ideally, the way a day would work is that we want to start the tournament around 9 a.m. and then have finals go at about 9 p.m. and have it under the lights at Rocky D. We thought that would be a great idea, and I think it'd really be sick to have under the lights finals. So we're planning on having food there as well. We haven't exactly discussed all details yet, but we want to be able to serve food there for all players or people that are just coming by to stop by and watch. And ideally, in the future, we want to be able to throw a social on the side. So after the finals and everything, go to a local bar or maybe even a local banquet hall and have everybody get together, the football community come together as one and just have a good time together. At the social, we plan to have door prizes too, just to be able to raise some more money, like we said. And you know what? It gives you something to be able to look forward to as well.
No, that's awesome. I think that's a great idea, Greg. I play touch football here in the Sioux, and that's a great league that they have going here. And unfortunately, obviously, last season due to COVID, there wasn't a season. So I do think that that's a really good idea, and I think a lot of those teams are going to want to step in and register and play too. I do think that it's a great idea. Where's the money that's being raised going towards?
Aaron could talk about that.
Okay, so I think my family has I think we're gonna decide on the Sioux Minor Football League, but it's not completely confirmed yet. Still got to talk to my parents about it, and it's gonna be their decision on
Yeah.
where it wants to go. So.
But so Jim, obviously you've had the pleasure of knowing all these boys and especially Matt. Talk a little bit about the Wheaton family, a little bit about Matt. A funny story, one of your favorite moments coaching him. I know I have a couple myself, but what comes to mind when you think of the Wheaton family and specifically Matt?
Well, I think when I think of Matt, I coached Matt in Sioux Minor Football League 2 in the Pee Wee division. So I had him in grade 5 and grade 6, and Mike was on my staff, and Matt was a little bigger then. He was heavier when he was young. He wasn't later on, and he got really athletic and in good shape. And he was always a good athlete, but the younger Matt was bigger. And everybody wanted Matt to play the O line, and he never wanted to play the O line. That's the biggest memory of him. Even in Pee Wee, when he was one of the biggest guys on the team, he always wanted to play linebacker, and we let him play some linebacker, and he was good at it. And even all the years I coached him in high school, he never wanted to play line, and he was just too good at it. And that's the biggest thing about Matt I always think of. And he loved football. He loved it. And I remember coaching Matt in grade 11, and Matt was Matt, right? He had his times when he was a little bit misbehaved, and I'm not saying anything that anyone doesn't know about Matt. Mike would tell you the same thing. And
Yeah.
but on the football field and at practice, never a problem ever. He loved it. He lived for it, and that's what he did. That was his place. And so I always think of him. And then of course he did end up playing tight end and some fullback in his last year, but almost all the time. And when he played SaberCats, he always ended up playing on the line. He was so good at it. He was a really, really good player. And had he wanted to go to university, he probably could have played at the next level. He was a really good player, and he was a pleasure to coach because you don't always coach guys that love football like he did. And all the Wheatons are football people, and I've had the pleasure of being around them all the time. I coached with Mike. I played with Mike actually. That's how far back I go. We played high school football together. And then he coached it with me a little bit in Sioux Minor. Then he coached his own team. I coached Darren. I coached Jeremy. Coached SaberCats with me. So Cody, when he was around, and him come on the sidelines with us. So the whole family's been around, and great people. And one thing I do want to say to you guys too, Aaron and we have a lot of, and Greg, we have a lot of resources. And a lot of great volunteers in the SAFA organization, and we can help you guys out as much as you want. I know this is your thing, and we don't want to step on any toes, but we have a lot of really good volunteers. A lot of people that are good at handling the money side and handling the insurance side and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that you guys aren't capable, but if you need our help, you guys reach out to me and get you guys all the help you want, because it's a great cause, it's a great idea, and we want to support you guys. So if you need my help and anyone's help, you two guys, you guys know how to find me. So reach out, and we got teams of guys that'll come and help you guys. And I don't know anybody that wouldn't help out the Wheaton family. So let us know if you need anything at all.
Yeah, and also we are on Saultsports, guys, just so you know too. If you send us a copy of the form, we'll put up a copy of the form on Saultsports for you. And Jay even said he'll stream the finals of the competitive division for you guys, so people can check that out as well. Jim, when you were talking, I was just when it comes to Matt, you're right. He did not want to play O-line. But I mean, Greg was a running back for us. Anytime he needed yards, he'd always want to run behind Matt, because he was that good. And he always wanted to play D-line for me too. And I needed him fresh because he just dominated on the O-line. We had a young team. And so I let him go D-line one game against Cora. And I think he made 3 tackles in his first 4 plays at D-line, right? So obviously he played there the rest of the year, but always a team guy first, right? Unbelievable. And yeah, I'm really impressed that you guys are doing this, and I think it's a great thing, and it's a great idea. I'm assuming you want to do this annually. Is this something
Yeah,
you
the
would want
plan
to do like every
is
year?
yeah, the plan is to get this going for like years to come to carry on his legacy, just so to make sure like one, he's not forgotten, and like two, you know, it's a good cause, and we can do some good like in the football community too.
Yeah, and it's something that we don't have, right? We don't have anything like this. And in
No,
August,
yeah.
like you said, August, there's no football. There's pretty much everything's done, gearing up for high school. So it's really good timing. So it's an excellent thing you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yeah, no. It's just Matt loved hockey too. So, and Greg said the 7-on-7, and I know Matt loved 3-on-3 hockey because you know you go out there and you bruise, right? So, you know, the 7-on-7 is just a perfect. I don't know. It's a good idea.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. So if worst case scenario, COVID doesn't allow it to happen on the proposed date, would you guys be willing to try it again later on this summer, or is there an alternate date potentially, or how are you guys working that?
So, yeah, we're working like with end of August. That's what we're thinking. Probably right now, we're thinking the 28th of August. But it's all touch and go with the whole COVID thing, because you know that's a real kicker. But if we really can't do it this year, then we could postpone it and do it when it's all cleared up and everyone feels safe to do it.
Perfect. That's awesome. Well, guys, this platform is wide open to you guys. If you guys want to promote this every couple of weeks, we'll promote it every week. If you guys want to do anything, please think of us. And every Monday night, you're more than welcome to come on here and talk about Matt or promote the tournament or do whatever you guys want to do.
All right, perfect.
Thanks a lot for
Thank
having us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Before you guys go, I got one question. Both have coached you guys, right? Oh, Aaron disappeared.
Yeah.
Now you're back.
I'm back.
Okay, Aaron, coach both of you, right? Now, your thoughts on these two watching The Bachelor? Go ahead, Greg.
No,
I don't even know.
Greg, it's okay to admit you watch it too. It's
never watched The Bachelor in my life.
No, but that's nice.
I don't think I've ever heard Crusoe speechless.
You talk back enough to me in my day, so I'm not used to it. But before you guys go, anything else you wanted to say? Give you one more opportunity. I know I don't know if you guys know this, but Carlo is watching. They messaged us earlier on, so if any of you guys have anything else to say, go right ahead.
I'm representing the Aruda Army Strong shirt. It's just got all of our names in there, my whole family, and
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're still praying, and you know.
Yeah, and your brother Jeremy admitted on the side here that he watched the Bachelor too. So. That's
Okay. Yeah.
That's okay. So.
Yeah.
He said only once.
Yeah.
He's only willing to admit to watching it once, but I know Jerry's ready for it. So.
Oh,
now is that The Bachelor or The Bachelorette? Which one does he watch?
Both good. They're both good.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate it. Like I said, anytime, just let us know.
All right,
thank you a lot for having us.
Guys, thanks, guys.
Thank you. So, like I say, they're still there for a minute, but again, it's something incredible event that they're doing. Any last thoughts on it for tonight, Jim?
Sorry. Can I just jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Cole and Ethan and Jordan are all watching us as well. So we just wanted to send a shout out to them, and we're all with you. We're all praying for you. We're all thinking about you. Obviously, we all have a pretty good relationship with you guys and your family. So you're definitely in our thoughts and prayers, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I never had a chance to coach the Twins yet. I'm hoping for that one day, and I had Jordan for a lot of years, and he knows how much I think of him, and my heart goes out to him in this battle, and he's a good boy, and I wish the best to him. So.
And one thing I would mention is my wife Carrie Lynn. She runs the Wendy's on the Hill, but Jim, your son Dylan and the Rudas work together now too, so I can imagine Dylan treating those two kids.
Yeah, he likes them. He really likes both boys, and I make sure that he gives them rides when he can. Now the family's busy right now, obviously not doing what they want to do, and so he helps out to try to take care of them. They're good boys, so.
Yeah.
So.
And shout out to Ryan too. He's I don't know if he's watching with them or not, but obviously he's included in that group, no question.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, another guy, good guy there, and Ryan.
So. Oh, absolutely, all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and just before we bring Jason in, guys, we had 78 people watching that segment with those boys. So the community is going to be really behind this tournament that they're doing.
Yeah, well, it's an awesome thing, and I, like I said, we got lots of resources to help them out. I hope I don't want to take it from them because it's their tournament, but if they need any help, and I told them that we got lots of guys around in the football community that will do anything for the Wheaton family and the Ruda family. So hopefully they use us as resources, and we'll support them any way they can, and they know that.
So we're gonna bring in Jay. He's the owner and GM of the Espanola Express. How are you, Jay?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. I don't know, Jim. Have you ever met Jay, or Tony? Have you ever met Jay?
No, I don't. I never met him. I don't think.
Well, that's rare that he doesn't know you, Jay.
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you, gentlemen.
Nice to meet you.
So he based in Espanola. First things first. Like Tony works with the Canadian Mental Health, so I want to touch base a little bit on that. And Jim has been quarantined. He doesn't go anywhere. So
no, I don't. No.
So he knows what it's like to stay at home all the time.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, four grown men here. These two above us watch The Bachelor. What do you think, Jay?
You know what? I can't comment. I'm not a TV guy. I don't watch much TV. So, but you know what? To each their own.
No, exactly. That's a good answer.
So first things first, Jay.
Yeah.
You're doing something right in Espanola. You took over in June of 2019, 17, 34, 0, and 5. In between 15 and 19, 31, 179, 2, and 8 with the old ownership. You're doing something right down there, that's for sure.
Well, I like to think that we are. I think that I had a couple partners in the beginning, and I was part of that group. I had a couple great guys. We just had a bit of a difference of opinion in the direction that we wanted to go, and a couple of us backed down and let some of the other ideas ride, and it just never worked out. So, we had always said that if it gets to a point where there's multiple people in the organization that aren't happy, we'll sit down and agree to make the change. And I was the one who pushed for it, and I just had some bigger ideas and wanted to make a change, and I made them an offer, and everybody agreed, and we just kind of closed the doors on that chapter and decided to move forward. One of the biggest things that I think that this league is great for is it's a great outlet for Northern Ontario kids. And I've watched a lot of teams over the years. You got guys from Michigan, Pennsylvania, BC, Alberta, out east. Like, I realize that everybody's competitive and wants to win a championship. But at some point, I think we can be competitive with kids that are in our own backyard and still have success and do the same thing as long as we're developing properly. That was one of the biggest changes that we made. We went from less kids away, and our priority was to fill our roster with Northern Ontario kids, and then we'll fill the holes after that.
And Jim, we talk about it, both you and Bono, both coach, like I say, at the minor level when it comes to SaberCats and everything. Jay has 9 OHL picks on his roster. That's saying something about Northern Ontario and the sports up here, doesn't it, Jim and Tony?
Yeah, that's very impressive. Very, very impressive.
But I think that also has to do with your recruiting. So can you talk a little bit about, I mean, you don't get 9 OHL draft picks just by luck. So, what can you talk a little bit about the recruiting and about kind of like the scouting and the direction that you took that area of the team?
Sorry to interrupt. It's not Boyer and Vresk, though, who's doing all that, though, right?
They've had a contribution, into our success. You know what, everybody. I've tried to surround myself with guys that have the same goals as us for a program. So one of the things that's very difficult for us in Espanola is trying to find players to come to Espanola. First of all, if you're from the South, nobody knows where it is. And if they do, they haven't heard anything good about it. It stinks, whatever, the paper mill, all that stuff, right? And we don't have a dedicated college or university in town. So the older guys, they would rather be playing junior hockey and going to school to kind of make up for the lost years. And I found that some of the players that we were getting, they just wanted to have the title of being a junior A player. They weren't dedicated to the program. They weren't dedicated to team success, which in turn is going to allow them to have individual success. They just didn't buy into the formula. So I've tried to surround myself with people that have the same ideas and the same goals as I do. And one of the biggest things for us is finding the kids that were bubble kids. So you have an opportunity to possibly make your OHL team, depending on how well and what kind of success you have here. But if you don't, you're still on the radar of those Division I programs. Now, a couple of years ago, we had Chase Lammy, who committed to St. Lawrence. And then we had another player that committed to University of Maine, that Tristan Poisson. And I think that as much work as we put in, that was the game changer for us. Having 2 Division I kids in one season spoke volumes, because I don't think that the NOJHL's had that in a long time. And that's really what we did. So we started targeting those guys that, are bubble OHL, and maybe they're going to play in a role that's a bottom 6, and sometimes you're just not the type of guy that can play a bottom 6 role. If you're a skilled guy coming up all the way through midget, bantam, peewee, it's very hard unless they have that mental capacity to understand what's necessary for team success. Most of them just want to put up points and be an individual. So you can't take a guy who's been a 20, 30 goal scorer all his life and expect him to just play a checking role. So, we've just tried to find those guys and find a good mix, guys that understand the role and how every piece plays an integral part to the success of the program on the ice.
So I just want to touch base on something. I'm curious your thoughts on this. So you talked about how you've been getting a lot of these fringe guys, right? And, obviously there's that rule with the Ontario Hockey League that if a kid plays one exhibition game, I believe they're ineligible. What's your stance on that? I find it really difficult for some of these 16-year-olds to have the potential to live their dream and make an OHL team, right? And I think that would be the ultimate goal for most kids. So trying to convince them that there is another route is always something that fascinated me about this league, because I bet you there's a lot of kids that in hindsight wish they would have played and not just played, a year or a few exhibition games, right? I'm just kind of curious as to your thoughts on that and how that, how that impacts the league and your team.
Well, yeah. So basically, anything after 48 hours with an OHL team for these kids, and if their name makes it on a roster, even if it's a red and white game, that technically, according to the NCAA, makes them ineligible. So we don't try and deter them from still going after their dreams of playing in the OHL. We're an Ontario-based team in an Ontario-based league, which is a feeder for the OHL. And all of these kids, that's their goal. That's their dream. They want to play there because that's the step right before the NHL. So I don't try and stop them. All we try and do is we try and find the players that are open to other options if it's not in the cards with the OHL team. So one of the big things we try and do is we try and work with their agents and advisors and just educate them on the whole process and let them know that there are other options. So if you have an OHL team that's talking to a kid and an agent and they're just letting them know that, we've got a spot for you, but you're going to be a bottom end guy, that's when we'll say to the kids, okay, you know what, here's what you have. And the agents could have a discussion with them and present the options to them. And if it's an option that looks a little bit more appealing, then we hope that they make the right decisions. And I mean, they're kids, right? Like, I think that asking a 16-year-old to make a decision after 48 hours is a little bit unrealistic because they're kids. They're not thinking about 5 years down the road. They're not even thinking about tomorrow.
I couldn't agree. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. That is a huge issue for me. And there's so many, people I can think of, right, who've done that. I mean, the Sioux Thunderbirds had a player a few years back. He played for the for Saginaw, I believe, for maybe half a season. Yep. Then he came back for the Thunderbirds and was arguably the best player I've ever seen play in the league. This was back when they won the championship. So, he just dominated. So you're right? It's tough, right? If those kids, it's a hard decision for people to make. And I agree with you. I wish there was a little more leeway there. I wish that was something that the leagues would look at. And again, it's got to be the kid's best interest.
And the thing is it's not our control, right? Like that's an American thing. That's the NCAA clearinghouse, and that's the NCAA's rules, and they have a whole different system down there. Yeah. If you're a commit to a D1 program, their expectation is that you're going as a true freshman. So you're going to school at 18. So imagine how good you would have to be at 18 to be able to jump in to play that level of hockey. And I'm not saying, I think that we have a great brand of hockey in our league. I think that we have a lot of players that are exceptional hockey players that could play at either level. Maybe they just need a little bit more development, and a little bit of time to grow. There's so many different factors involved, but we have a population in Canada of about 38 million. They've got about 340 million in the US. So they can take a chance on more guys, right? And they don't have to be as selective because it's there.
Yes.
And, sorry, Jim, the question I have, Jim, is when it comes to recruiting, and Jay will probably agree, and you being the SaberCats, when you have players recruited from the SaberCats to go to OUA program, that's huge for the program, isn't it, Jim?
Of course it is, yeah. And I think that's one of the big things we saw in football, not to take away from what we're talking about hockey now, is there's more opportunities, right? Football rosters in Canada have 80, 90 players on their team, so they need a lot of players. But it's a big selling point for the program, and the high schools are the same. Everybody wants that guy who went here, went there, right? So it is a big thing. I had a question though for Jay. How big a role do you guys play in the recruiting? Do you film all your games? Do you provide players? Do they do all that themselves?
Sorry, Jay. Sorry, Jim. Do you have a little bit of feedback there, Jay, in the background? I think.
I am. Just 1 sec. I'll check it out. Let me see.
Oh, well, now we can't hear him at all.
Okay, better.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Did you hear my question, Jay?
I did. Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
So we try and play an active role. So what we do here is when our players come in at the beginning of the year, we'll sit down with them. We have some interviews, just find out what they're looking for, what their goals are. And then we get them to all fill out a bio, player bio, educational information in there, hockey information in there, what their goals are, any volunteer stuff they've done. And then we get them to do some research on the program because after us, we want them to go to the next level, but I don't want them to go to the next level just for the sport. You got to select a university that has your program, because if things don't work out after that, at least you have the degree that you wanted to fall back on. So once they've selected that, we actively reach out. So basically every Monday morning, I'll go on. So we have Hockey TV. All of our games are broadcast on Hockey, which, yeah. So they're all Hockey TV. Guys can go on there, get their membership. They can view all the games. We cut a lot of film and send it for the on behalf of the players to the schools. But every Monday morning, I've got a list of about 80 to 90 schools that I reach out to via email, and I give them a breakdown of the weekend and how certain players progress. And I'm honest, like I'm brutally honest. If they had a bad weekend, I'll identify that it wasn't the best weekend, but I'll give some reasons why. You know, we got some younger kids go from playing 30 games to playing a 56 game schedule. Sometimes the workload, you know, they can't play back-to-back nights. But we're honest and we give good feedback, because if a guy takes one of our kids, I don't want it to be a surprise. I want him to know what he's getting so that we can build that trust and build that relationship. So for years to come, they know that Espanola is going to provide them with a quality player. So we do a lot of work, like, and then after I email the group, which is, I can't remember the exact number, but it's around 80. I break that into half and I start making calls and I try and catch them all. So my Monday is basically filled promoting players to the NCAA programs, CIS schools. And I don't really deal with a lot of the OHL teams. I try and let their agents do that, just because that's the role that they have. I do accept phone calls openly about feedback and how the player's progressing, what his attitude's like, you know, how he is in the dressing room. But yeah, we do a lot for these players here in Espanola, and not just Espanola. Like I know Bricker in Blind River, and you know Zachary and Forsyth and Rayside, and every team in our league puts a lot of time and effort into our player promotion, because that's one of the things that is only going to make us better, and it's going to want to drive players up here. If we can consistently promote players to the next level and quality players, the younger ones are going to start to see those numbers rise, and this will be a league where guys want to come first, and that should be our goal.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's what parents are looking for, right? They want you to sell their kid for them, right? That's part of why they're sending their kid to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
And Jay, you do it for the money, right, Jay?
Yeah, that's still, you know, you know what, ever since, even when my partners were involved, when we started up this team, we were a break-even deal. As long as we broke even, we were happy, and that's where we're at. We don't run it as a not-for-profit, obviously, but, you know, we try and just break even, try and keep us in a position where, you know, we can keep our fees manageable for players, and anything that we get extra, we just put back into recruiting or better equipment, or, you know, better hotels on the road. Whatever we can do to make our program better, we just continuously put it back in, and we've never changed that. That was one of the biggest things that I wanted to make sure we were doing with our program, and my two previous partners. You know, we had agreed upon that, and that's something that's going to be honored as long as we're here in Espanola, because I think that that's something that can set us apart from a lot of the teams down south that are, you know, maybe a little bit different in operating.
And that's something where sorry, Tony. Tony and Jim are involved in Sault Minor and the rep football programs here in Sault Ste. Marie. With Elliott, like with everything that happened before, Elliott Lake, the Wildcats took a 1 year leave of absence. Other than the Wellville is probably the smallest community, and then it's you and Elliott Lake that are the two smallest. Do you find it really challenging being in the north and being one of the smaller communities to have it support the team to keep you going?
It's a challenge. You got to work hard every year. That's for sure. Like, I have a great group of fans that will support us no matter what. If we have one win or we have 50 wins, we will have the same 180 to 200, 220 people will be there religiously. Like I cannot speak highly enough about those group of individuals and fans, because they just want to see hockey. They want to support the players. They'll do anything to be a part of it. I have great volunteer staff that helps me out as well. But it is challenging to get the corporate dollars, especially through this. Everybody's suffering. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Everybody has taken a hit financially, and the economy's not the best right now. And a lot of our businesses are, small businesses owned by locals in the community. They try and do the best they can and support us, but it's not like a big city where I can go in there with an advertising package or a sponsorship package and say, okay, here's what you should do. I basically have to go in there and say, okay, this is what we offer. We can custom a package to you, but I don't know what your budget is. So any kind of partnership that we can arrange is a good partnership for both of us. And we treat them well. We give them tickets and they get to come to the games. They get priority selection of their seats, and we give them some swag and apparel. And anytime they do some sort of a function, we try and make sure that we have players available to go assist with their function and help out with any fundraising they may do or any volunteer work they do in the community. We partner with a lot of them, but it's difficult. There's a lot of places in the north that can access a lot more community dollars, and it's challenging here in Espanola. We have the sponsors we have are great. They're fantastic. Anybody who has been a sponsor has been fantastic. I understand the challenges and being in a community of 5,000 people. I understand the challenges of being able to help out. So we do our best. I mean, we pound the pavement, and I put in probably just as much time here doing that as I do working at the steel plant. So,
and for the guy they don't know, he drives back and forth from Espanola to the steel plant, guys.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
So, we only have a couple more minutes here, but I definitely wanted to ask you this quickly too. So, your coaching staff, Brent Hughes, Sean Dubois, Don. I noticed that you have a pretty good variety there. Just talk a little bit about what each of them bring to the table, the job that they're doing, and just overall how you think the whole staff is doing right now.
You know what? I'm happy with my staff. I mean, I'll save Husey for last, but I mean, Don's been with us since the beginning, so 6 years now. Don, local community guy, does a little bit of work on the side to help the guys get some exposure to the schools. He's our trainer. He's a billet. He's a volunteer in any way that he can be. His wife tries to support and get involved as much as she can as well. And then I got a guy by the name of Jeff Panamek who drives from Chigang on the island, comes every night for practice. He's at every game. There's no questions asked. He's my equipment guy. There is nothing that is not attended to by him. And for very little. Like you can't make a career out of this, and we try and compensate accordingly and the best that we can for these guys for their time, because it's very, very valuable to us. But I think one of the things that sets us apart from some other organizations is that these guys are passionate about it. Like they really enjoy what we're doing here, and they enjoy being a part of the group. Same with Sean Dubois. I mean, Sean Dubois has been in Espanola for quite a few years. And he is very familiar with this league. Sean had a couple of very, very successful years with Elliott Lake in this league, and I think that's one of the biggest things that has allowed him for some success. He's familiar with the league. He's familiar with the communities. He's got a couple young boys that play, so playing in this league from back then to what it's transitioned to now, he's had a really good grasp at that. And then Brent Hughes, I can't really say enough about Brent. The time and the dedication and the preparation that he puts into just a practice, let alone the season, is crazy. He does video, and he spends probably 8 hours a day clipping video from NHL games to our games to opposing teams' games, power play, penalty kill, neutral zone, defensive zone, like anything. Like, it's there and it's done daily. We practice twice a day, 4 days a week. We play. I mean, I think that he's coaching below his level, to be honest with you. But he enjoys it. He's trying to keep his resume going, and I think that we got a great staff here. I can't, right from my photographer to the support that my wife and family gives me, and the support that all the other families give us. We got a great crew here, so it makes it a lot easier on the day to day.
Awesome.
And Jay, the last thing I'll bring up is, because we're not playing right now, like you say, these guys are going to get going soon because they got the Bachelor at 8 o'clock, about 3 minutes. Time's ticking down.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes. But I'll make sure we have you back on when hopefully the season gets back, and we'll talk more, and we'll talk more about the NJHL and the FNOLA.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good night, fellas.
Thank you.
Jay, nice meeting you.
You too.
Take care.
Bye.
So just to touch base, guys, like I say, with the when it comes to the Arruda family and people who were requesting shirts, Mike Wheaton had sent over a message. The Arruda Army Strong will be available. All they have to do is contact wheatonm@gmail.com if people are interested in buying a shirt. Mike says they are available, so give him an email out to Mike about that. One last question, guys. I know you want to go, but there's just one question is, Jim and Tony, I'm going to show you this, and we won't do Bono's choice or Jim's choice tonight just because of your bachelor.
Yeah.
But this here, if you can see it, I know it's a hockey mask, Jim and Bono. Your thoughts, if they were to put that on a football mask to allow SaberCats to play, would you say yes, go for it, Jim and Bono?
I'd say yes to anything that gets us back on the football field. So yeah, of course.
But would it, with the heat and everything, would that, because it goes quite right up to the top, would they be overheating?
I mean, there is stuff out there now that they have. I've seen prototypes from American companies with the football masks that's supposed to be safer and stuff like that. Anything that gets us back on the field, right? Everyone's dying to play football in the city, So yeah, we'd be all for anything that was required. We would do. So
Yeah,
Bono,
absolutely.
yeah. So again, not to rush it because you guys are you're really chomping at the bit, and Jim wants his snacks to have during his bachelor. But thanks, Jim, for taking the time. Hopefully, Jim, it's up to you. You can join us every week if you want. We'll talk more.
I myself, I'll be back for sure, Jay. Probably.
Yeah, we'll talk more. Bono, we'll talk after. Yeah. I won't send you either messages until after, what's it, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock tonight?
10 o'clock.
Okay.
2 hours.
So I'll send you a few messages about 10:05 then.
But quickly, I want to get Jim on the record. Football this week. Who do you like?
Why?
I know it's early. We don't know what's going on with Mahomes.
On Mahomes' health, right? That's a big factor. It depends on Mahomes' health. I mean, Buffalo's been fantastic this year. I thought a little bit in the 2 playoff games, Buffalo looked a little bit nervous. Allen was a little bit off. It was windy in Buffalo the other night. I get that. I think if Mahomes plays and is healthy and is it's supposedly a neck injury now, if he's okay there, if his toe is okay, they hurt earlier in the game. I think if they got Mahomes at 100%, I think that Kansas City wins. On the other side, I mean, I'm a lifelong Patriots fan before and after Brady, so I'm still a Patriots fan, but I love Brady. It's a little bit weird for me to cheer for him playing for another team. I kind of think they got what it takes to beat Green Bay. Green Bay's a really good team. That's a tough game. I think you're going to have to score to beat Green Bay. I think you're going to have to beat Green Bay 31-28, 35-31. I think you're going to have to score to beat them because I don't think you're going to stop their offense very much. So I'll say Tampa Bay and Kansas City, but I'm not really heavy on that Tampa pick. So, and what are your thoughts, Bono?
It's funny because before the playoffs, I filled out my bracket, and the 4 teams I have are these 4 teams.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, it's these 4 teams playing each other. So I have in the original though I had Tampa Bay versus Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Very similar. As the playoffs have progressed, and I'll never cheer for Green Bay, but I actually think it's going to be the opposite. I actually think Green Bay is going to win. And the way Buffalo's been playing and their defense has really picked it up. And I agree. I don't think Mahomes is at 100% at all. And there's no way Chad Henne can come in and pull off that miracle again. So
No,
I'm actually going to go.
They don't win without Mahomes. So
I agree. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Buffalo takes it, and I think unfortunately Green Bay takes it. But
yeah, these are the kind of games, Bono. Where I think, but we're both at the same point. We don't have a really strong feel, and I'm not. Someone's not coming back at me saying, you said Tampa was going to win," because I'm not really saying that. If forced to pick, I would pick Tampa. But yeah, I would not be. I would not be surprised at all how that game goes.
It's a coin flip. I think both games are a coin flip. I mean, it's unbelievable. They should be 2 great games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The sad part about that, Bono, the sad part is there's only 3 football games left this season.
I know.
That's sad. So
I know. And then
I don't know about his betting or whatever, but him and Klooster, when it comes to the Saultsports high school poll, him and Klooster are 7-3. Jim, you're 6-4. You're falling behind there a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's okay though. They give them their glory for now. Well, I'll catch them in the end.
Yeah. Had I taken Green Bay, it would have been different. But
now, question I have, and I'm going to throw it out there, and I'll let you guys go for sure this time. If we do a Super Bowl party like this with the game on the screen, would you sit in on it?
I'd pop in. I don't know if I want to be on here for 4 hours. I love you guys and everything like that, but I would definitely be in and out for sure.
Or maybe what we'll do is we'll do a recap. How's that?
A recap or a pregame? We could do one of those.
Okay, maybe we'll do that, and we'll talk about that then.
Yeah.
Okay, go enjoy your bachelor, and we'll talk soon, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.